From Australia, this is the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
And in national news this week, Marty VK4KC, the POTA Administrator for Australia, POTA's on. St George Amateur Radio Society holds arguably the largest JOTA event in VK. 15-year-old answers calls for help during a hurricane, VK2COD reports. Free mobile application is making waves in the amateur radio community, and VK3 GRK Graham, new to our team, reveals all when he steps up to the mic with special interest group news. And in Australiana, the noise from VK6. But wait, there's more, much more, in this edition of news from the Wireless Institute of Australia for week commencing Sunday, October 5, 2025. And I'm Editor Graham, VK4BB, and I'll be back with Australiana in just a sec.
No, you haven't tuned the ether stirrer. This is the official VK Ham News from the One, VK1WIA.
2 Faraday cages have been put in place at the Square Kilometre Array site in Western Australia to protect the giant radio telescope from interference caused by RF leaks coming from inside the data centre. The data centre and the array are being built in Murchison, a remote location that provides a needed environment of radio quietness. Despite the radio silence at the location, the data centre's computers, which connect to the city of Perth, generate stray RF, spurring the need for Faraday cages to prevent the electromagnetic energy from escaping. The International Massive Array, which will have 131,072 antennas, is still a work in progress since it was started back in 2022. The site in Australia is home to the array's low-frequency antennas. South Africa is housing the mid-frequency antennas. The observatory and headquarters are at the Jodrell Bank Observatory in northwest England. Although the array will still be a work in progress through to 2029, Philip Diamond, director of the SKA Observatory, recently told the Register website that tests may be run on the facility as early as 2027. He told the Register, and I quote, "By then we will have the largest physical low-frequency telescope on the planet," end quote. This is Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Who listens to radio?
Wade, VK1MIC.
This is Roger Harrison, VK2ZRH.
Graham Alston, VK3GA.
I'm Peter, VK3YE.
I'm Marty, VK4 Kilo Charlie.
I'm Jeff Emery, VK4ZPP.
Mark, VK6QI for the Peel Amateur Radio Group.
We are VK1WIA. Now, international news with VK2LAW Jason.
International news is with thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, ARRL, DX World, EHAM, Hackaday, IARU, IRTS, Newsline, NZART, RAC, RadioWorld.com, RSGB, SARL, and the worldwide sources of the WIA. Hello, leading this week's international news to the United States, a bulletin sent to ARRL members included information about the impact of the US government shutdown on licensing for the amateur radio service. The government shutdown began Wednesday, October 1, when Congress had not passed an appropriations bill or other plan to keep the government funded for the new fiscal year, which always begins October 1st. The Federal Communications Commission, which issues amateur radio service licenses, issued a public notice indicating that it would suspend most operations following the shutdown. Aside from a few emergency and auction filing systems, all other Commission electronic filing systems will be unavailable to the public until normal agency operations resume, said the FCC notice. The Kuwait Amateur Radio Society, KARS, has reaffirmed its dedication to promoting the culture of amateur radio in Kuwaiti society and inspiring younger generations to embrace the hobby, highlighting its role in strengthening values of communication and understanding between peoples. This came during the visit of the Japanese ambassador to Kuwait to the KARS headquarters in Surrey, along with his delegation. The event was part of efforts to enhance bilateral relations between Kuwait and Japan and to shed light on Japan's pioneering role in supporting and advancing amateur radio. In a move applauded by a number of lawmakers, the Federal Communications Commission has given prisons and other correctional facilities the authorisation to use cell phone jamming technology to disable devices smuggled into the inmates. Federal law prohibits the sale and operation of equipment that interferes with the operation of authorised radio communications, including GPS and cellular phones. According to the FCC, the vote was taken to halt what authorities say are criminal activities, such as drug dealing or killings, being conducted by persons who are incarcerated. The FCC said that its action would coordinate efforts between corrections officials and wireless carriers and is not designed to interfere with wireless services of cellular customers in the vicinity of the prisons. When there's an emergency, you can't have too many ways to communicate, particularly when the crisis involves nuclear materials. That's why in the United States, the Department of Energy recently asked amateur radio operators to be a part of a drill at a plant where the agency conducts nuclear waste management and decontamination. It was a first for the Amateur Radio Emergency Service in Paducah, Kentucky, responding to a mock emergency at a government-owned site that conducts nuclear deactivations and spent fuel cleanup. Paducah is one of more than 100 government sites across the country handled by the Energy Department's Emergency Management Program, which conducts nuclear remediation. The HAMS, first responders at numerous natural disasters throughout Kentucky, were now providing backup in a nuclear scenario. According to a report on the department website, the HAMS got the word out successfully, transmitting emails over the radio from their mobile station inside a truck, reaching department headquarters in Washington, D.C., as well as the project office in nearby Kentucky. Mona Redfield, program manager of the Four Rivers Nuclear Partnership, said that the first-time inclusion of ham radio meant that such scenarios gave an extra layer of resiliency to keep communications uninterrupted. She said, exercises like this not only enhance our preparedness, but also strengthen ties with local responders who share our commitment to protecting people and the environment. In the US, the FCC has charged an amateur radio operator with unauthorised operation on a frequency assigned for use by public safety agencies, private mobile paging and businesses. The FCC's action against Matthew Davidson, Kilo Golf 7 Echo Foxtrot India, stems from a complaint its Enforcement Bureau received on the 10th of July, barely 1 month after Davidson was granted his technician class licence. Technician licensees are permitted use of VHF bands including 6 metres, 2 metres and 1.25 metres. According to the complaint, enforcement agents said Davidson, who lives in Utah, was questioned 18 days after the complaint and admitted that he was transmitting on 173.675 MHz, a frequency that is unauthorised under his licence. The FCC has given him 20 days to file a formal written response. For WIA National News, in Sydney, I'm Jason, VK2LAW.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned to the Wireless Institute of Australia's National News Service. We are VK1WIA. Now, operational news with Felix, VK4FUQ.
Hello there. Oceania DXOC-DXCW contest is this weekend, 11-12 October. JARTS Worldwide RTTY contest is 0100 hours UTC October 18 to 2400 hours UTC October 19, with bands 80, 40, 20, 15 and 10 metres. Exchange is RST and age of operator. 10-10 International CW contest 0001 hours Zulu October 18 to 23:59 hours Zulu, October 19. Worldwide on 10 metres only. Exchange for a 1010 member is name plus 1010 number plus state, province, country. Non-member, name plus 0 plus state, province, country. YLRL DXNA YL Anniversary Contest. 1400 hours Zulu, October 18 to 0200 hours Zulu, October 20 is a worldwide contest on CW Digital and SSB. Find rules on ylrl.net/contests. Yoda Contest December. The Fisher's Ghost Amateur Radio Club are hosting the inaugural VK Yoda Contest the entire month of December. yoda.fgarc.org.au/. Then just 3 days from the end of what we call the VK Yoda Contest comes round 3 of the Yoda Contest organised by the IAA Regional 1 Youth Working Group in cooperation with the Hungarian Amateur Radio Society. December 29 is the date. Now the DX window to the world. Celebrating the Deutsche Amateur Radio Club's 75th anniversary, 4 special call signs have been activated by DARC till 31 October. DC7, D5D, DD7, DK7 and DR75 DARC. QSLs via the Bureau or direct to DL2 VFR. Special call sign LA100A is active throughout 2025 to mark the 100th anniversary of the first amateur radio two-way contact between Norway and the USA in November 1925. QSL directly to LA100A via the Bureau or QRZ.com. Switzerland. 4UO ITU is a call sign for the International Amateur Radio Club at ITU HQ in Geneva, to use from 16 May to the end of the year. In celebration of the 160th anniversary of the International Telecommunication Union. QSL by LOTW, Club Logs OQRS, or direct. Croatia. 9A169 Tesla. This is a special call sign that will be used until 31 December, in celebration of the 169th anniversary since the birth of Nikola Tesla, 10 July 1856. QSOs will be uploaded to LOTW, Club Log and QRZ Logbook. For WIA National News, I'm Felix VK4FUQ in Ingham.
Across Australia from VK1WIA, you're tuned to the WIA National News Service. At 10 a.m. Sunday, it can be heard on the Amateur Radio New South Wales News Network, on HF from VK2WI in Sydney, and on relay to repeaters in Sydney, the Central Coast, Newcastle, the Illawarra and Western Blue Mountains. From VK2WI, the studios of Amateur Radio New South Wales at Dural in Sydney, I'm Matthew, VK2YAP.
From here, there and everywhere, you've tuned the Wireless Institute of Australia National News Service.
Hi, I'm Graham, VK3GRK, this week for Bruce, who seems to have gone AWOL, with worldwide special interest group news. A POTA Quarterly Support Your Parks weekend happens on Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th of October. Then the VKFF National Get-Together is October 24th to 27th in Canberra. With regard to POTA, here's Marty.
The next quarterly POTA Support Your Parks weekend is Saturday the 18th and Sunday the 19th of October, which is next weekend. There will be many POTA activators operating from parks, forests, trails, beaches and rivers over this weekend. Chris, VK4DTS, has organised a POTA camp for those in the Greater Brisbane area at Boreen Point Campground just north of Noosa. For more information on this event, go to the POTA Australia New Zealand Facebook group and click on the Events tab. Others around the country who want to get involved can do so individually or as a group. Just get out to one of the 10,728 Australian POTA locations and call CQ POTA. This is Marty, VK4 Kilo Charlie, POTA admin for Australia. POTA on.
Thanks, Marty. Now, SOTA Croatia is marking 10 years. Listen for the special call sign 9 Alpha 10 SOTA. The call sign is on the air through to 2026, the 30th of September 2026 to be precise. A certificate will be available for contacts made between the 1st of October and the 31st of December this year. QSL via Logbook of the World. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Faith. With plans for its own ham radio room and new radio tower, Marian Baptist Association in Ocala will soon be taking part in emergency communications to help local churches and their membership during statewide disaster relief efforts. The updates are coming at a great time as Florida's hurricane season is underway, said Mark Weeble. Oh, and in a moment we'll look at the season in rescue radio. Mark Weeble is associational mission strategist who only got his ham radio licence about a year ago. Since then, he has discovered the many applications of this technology and a new community of people who are practitioners. A year ago, when I started studying for my ham radio licence, I had no idea that I would get this far deep into it, or that it would be this practical, he said. Weeble is hoping to establish a network of ham radio operators among all 67 churches in the association. The idea is for each church to have its own ham radio operator so that churches can communicate with one another and relay information in the event of a hurricane or other natural disaster. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Final Frontier. The Amateur Radio Organisation of Indonesia reports September 28, 2025 was the 10th anniversary of IO-86, Indonesia Oscar 86 satellite. The host vehicle, Lapan A2 satellite, was launched from India using a PSLV rocket. This 10 years of almost problem-free satellite is beyond imagination, as the service years were designed only for 2. Currently, the FM voice repeater payload is still working well. Only the APRS digipeater is showing reduced sensitivity. Hopefully, we can have another 10 years of service from this satellite. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Islands on the Air. Eric, Golf Mike 5, Romeo Delta X-Ray, and Graham, 2 Mike 0, India Juliet Uniform, are on the air as Juliet 38 Delta X-Ray and Juliet 38 Lima Delta, respectively, from Grenada, IOTA number November Alpha 024, to the 15th of October. They are on 80 to 6 metres using single sideband most of the time, with some FT8. QSL for both call signs via Mike 0 Oscar X-Ray Oscars OQRS. Listen for another Eric. This Eric is Foxtrot 6 India Charlie X-Ray, who is using the call sign 5 Romeo 8 India Charlie from St. Marie Island, IOTA number Alpha Foxtrot 090, near Madagascar. He is operating through to late December or early January using CW, single sideband and some FT8 in Foxhound mode on 40 to 10 metres. Bernard, Delta Lima 2, Golf Alpha Charlie, is active again as Hotel 44 Mike Sierra from Malaita Island, Oscar Charlie 047, on the Solomon Islands until the 25th of November. Listen for activity on the 80 to 6 metre bands using single sideband and FT8. QSL directly via Bernard's home call or the Bureau. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Radio Amateur Young Timers, YOTA, Youngsters on the Air. Alan, VK2 Charlie Oscar Delta joins us.
Thank you. At just 15, Benji Martin answered calls for help during a hurricane, connecting people in crisis with life-saving resources. When Hurricane Helen hit, people needed help fast. They may not have expected that help to come from a 15-year-old in Georgia. Benjamin Martin was at the controls of his ham radio, manning the ARES emergency frequency from his bedroom. KQ4KIS, Benji here, he said, ready to serve. He takes his volunteer position very seriously. Their motto and slogan is, when all else fails, we will be there, he said. As the storm barreled towards the southeast, Benji prepared to answer any call for help. They were setting up the day before schools were closing, and we thought Atlanta is going to take a full-out hit, he said. Benji stayed on the radio overnight, helping connect people with the resources they desperately needed. He even helped locate a medically fragile woman who was missing after the storm. Thank you for what you did, Benji. For WIA National News, I'm Alan, VK2COD in Sydney.
Worldwide Special Interest Groups Radio Scouting. St George Amateur Radio Society celebrates 30 years of Jamboree on the Air at Buree Regatta. We have more.
The first Jota station at the Buree Regatta was established in 1995 by John Gibbling, VK2EKG, and was soon joined by other enthusiastic members of SGARS. Since then, the club has proudly maintained this long-standing tradition of connecting scouts and guides with the world through amateur radio. This year, SGARS members will once again be setting up and operating amateur radio station VK2LE at Buree Regatta in Kurnell, Sydney, New South Wales. The Buree Regatta is a popular weekend event featuring both water and land-based activities for Girl Guides and Scouts from across southern Sydney. And this year marks a double celebration, with the Buree Regatta itself commemorating its 60th anniversary. The SGARS Jota team anticipates up to 500 Girl Guides and Scouts will take part in the Jamboree on the Air activities at the event, potentially making it one of the largest Jota stations in Australia. Throughout next weekend, Saturday 18, Sunday 19 of October, VK2LE will be active on multiple bands and modes, including HF, primarily 40 metres, 2 metre FM repeaters across Greater Sydney, VK-DMR talk groups TG30 to TG39, as well as DMR, Brandmeister and Echolink. And not only but also, this group will present the WIA National News for Jota.
The St George Amateur Radio Society Jota team welcomes contact from other Jota stations across Australia and around the world. Stations wishing to make contact or learn more can reach the team via email, WhatsApp or Facebook. Details are available on the St George Amateur Radio Society website at sgars.org. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Rescue Radio. Amateur radio activations during Hurricanes Imelda and Humberto. Amateur radio operators were closely involved with monitoring the forecasts of the National Hurricane Centre, NHC, in Florida throughout the tracks of Hurricanes Imelda and Humberto, activating nets and contributing service reports. Imelda passed over Bermuda on Wednesday night, October 1st, 2025, as a Category 2 hurricane, with winds gusting over 100 miles per hour and leaving over 17,000 people without power. Humberto became a Category 5 hurricane briefly on September 27th, staying over the open Atlantic Ocean. The double hurricanes produced dangerous surf and coastal flooding along the US East Coast, and they caused damage to homes on North Carolina's Outer Banks. The Hurricane WatchNet, HWN, activated for the first time this season, beginning Wednesday, October 1st at 3 p.m. EDT. 1900 UTC, with operations on 14.325 MHz and 7.268 MHz. Worldwide Special Interest Groups Software for Hams. We are looking today at two kits, one from the US and one from ZS. KV4P HT. Turn an Android smartphone into a ham radio transceiver. KV4P HT is an open-source hardware VHF or UHF radio designed to plug into the USB-C port of an Android smartphone and turn it into a handheld ham radio transceiver. It's based on an ESP32 wireless module and an SA818 radio module. This accessory makes your phone capable of off-grid voice and text communication with a technician-class amateur radio license. It's small enough to fit into a pocket, partially because it does not need a battery, relying on the built-in battery of your phone. The ZS Alma mobile application. A brand new free mobile application is making waves in the amateur radio community by combining essential operating tools with modern social features, all in one place. The app, designed for amateurs on the go, offers fast and intuitive QSO logging to keep track of every contact, whether from the shack, in the field, or during contest operations. Built-in integration ensures logs are accurate, portable, and easy to manage wherever you operate. Beyond logging, the app goes further by including APRS tracking, giving operators the ability to monitor real-time positions of stations and share their own location seamlessly. For space enthusiasts, the app also features satellite tracking tools, helping amateurs plan and work contacts through amateur satellites with ease. But this is not just a utility app, it is also about community. Operators can join a built-in chat platform to share experiences, post photos and videos, and stay connected with fellow amateurs worldwide. A dedicated swap shop section even lets users trade or sell gear directly through the app, creating a space where hobbyists can support one another. My goal was to put everything a modern amateur needs into a single, easy-to-use mobile app, from logging QSOs to planning satellite passes and connecting with other operators, said the developer Dave, Zulu Romeo, 6 Lima Sierra Delta. It's not just about making contacts, but about building and sharing within the amateur radio community. The app is in constant development and available from the Google Play Store, iOS Store and the Huawei App Gallery for download. The ZS Alma website can be found at zsalma.co.za. This has been Graham, VK3GRK, for WIA National News.
This is Linda, VK7QP. On Sunday, this broadcast goes out on repeaters all over VK7 and on digital radio, DMR Talk Group 5 and D-Star Reflector 91C. We also go out on UHF CB Channel 15 in Hobart. You can hear this broadcast again on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on the repeaters VK7RAA in northern VK7 and VK7RAD in southern VK7.
This is VK1WIA. All points of contacts from today's news stories are to be found in print when you read the web editions, www.wia.org.au.
It's a date. We're looking at the social scene. Now, don't forget, clubs are welcome to email text with audio for this section, much like Graham, who joins us again.
Flex Radio, a new era in amateur radio. Friday, October 17th in Bendigo. Bendigo Amateur Radio and Electronics Club invite you to their October meeting. Join Andrea, VK3GOW, as she provides an interesting presentation on the Flex radio system and plans for a remote station at Barrick's Gregwin Tower site. Subjects covered will include plans for Gregwin with the Flex radio, installation at Gregwin, how it works, external amplifier and rotator controller, installation of station software on the remote computers, proposed booking system and access to Gregwin once installed. The presentation commences at 7:30 p.m. Friday, October 17th at Barrick Headquarters, Bendigo East Hall, 35 Lancel Street. A gold coin donation would be appreciated and a light supper will be provided. The presentation will be available live via Zoom. See the text version of this broadcast for the Zoom details.
It's a date. All the events coming up for the rest of 2025. Grab a pen, because here we go. For VK, it's the POTA Quarterly Support Your Parks Weekend, Saturday 18, Sunday 19 of October. In VK2, West Lakes Field Day, 8 a.m, October 26 on the club grounds. In VK5, AREG's Amateur Radio and Electronic Sale, Sunday the 26th of October. For the whole of VK, it's the VKFF National Get-Together, October 24-27, to be held in Canberra. In VK4, QTech 2025, a two-day conference, Saturday 1, Sunday 2 of November, Kedron Wavell RSL. Also in VK4, the Gold Coast Amateur Radio Society's Hamfest, November 9. VK7, My Inner Hamfest, Saturday, November 15. In VK3, the Rosebud Radio Fest, Eastbourne Primary School at Rosebud, November 16. VK2, Picton Hamfest, November 23, the Picton Showground, 8 a.m. In VK8, it's the Darwin Amateur Radio Club's Christmas Party, 6:30 p.m, December 3. And next week, don't forget, the Scouts and Girl Guides will be bringing you the WIA National News Service. So, till next we meet, I am Graham, I am VK4BB. Walk softly.
From Australia, this has been the Wireless Institute of Australia with the weekly news service. This broadcast is in text, audio and video and is accessed on wia.org.au.
Courtesy of Bevan, VK5 BD's ATV and YouTube channel, this has been WIA National News. We're back now, live and local, and your voice, your callbacks. And don't forget, tick like.